I've been often asked, how do I get there? How do I keep going on? How do I put one foot in front of the other and get where you are? Kids, let's talk about it. I went on a 5, almost 7-year healing journey from a chronic illness, from domestic violence, not just one bad relationship, but all 3 of the long-term relationships I've had were violent. So at some point in there, I had to ask myself, what do I need to do? What do I need to change? How can I go about doing that? So after the last 15 years that I spent with the same person, trigger warnings, and my apologies if this is something you want to stay with and listen to, please stay. And if that is too much to hear, then I completely understand. But know that I see you, and you don't have to do this alone. So I got to a point after leaving, not once, not twice, not the 7 times they tell you this is the average, because 7 is not the average. It's more like 8 to 12. And sometimes even more than that, for us to get up that courage and know that the next place we're going, we're going to find our peace. And I cannot exude that enough. When I got to stand in my apartment all by myself, looking out my sliding glass doors, and my childhood best friend said to me, "How does freedom feel, Christy?" And I said, "It feels like I'm never going to lose it again." I didn't like being screamed at, and it truly had gotten to that point. No, this person did not ever open-handedly hit me, but he didn't have to. He would chase me down, bump into me, knock me into hallways, take his hand and put it in my face, knowing I had a chronic illness, dizziness, swollen brain, and I could not handle that. He would wake up first thing in the morning and literally be this close in my face, screaming, and I would have no idea what it was for or why. Abuse isn't always physical. And I have been through every kind of abuse you can think of, from childhood trauma, SA, physical, mental, emotional, financial, and I got fed up. One of my most favorite human beings that actually encouraged me and helped me get the ambition and courage and that empowering feeling like I am 10 foot tall and bulletproof with a steel backbone. That was the nerve that I had to have to turn around and look at that person the very last time he was allowed to do that to me. And I said, "This is the last time. You will never talk to me like that again. Take your things and get on down the road." And that was the last time. It takes us. So my favorite person, he comes out and says in this amazing book that he wrote, and I was listening to him one day for the first time many years ago, and I thought, man, that guy's kind of harsh. And he is. But he claims he will kick your ass in a different way, in a good way, that helps us to dive into the trauma that we've actually experienced and figure out, how did it affect us? How did that make us feel? What can we do about it? First steps. If this is you, you need a safety action plan. You need an exit plan, if that sounds like something you need. You need friends. You need support. And there is a whole community of survivors thriving just like me. And it took us a long time to heal, and I'm not going to lie, it was a lot of hard work. It was worth it. You're worth your freedom. And today, as we are in 2025 for Domestic Violence Awareness Month, I am heartbroken and saddened at the amount of women that I help every day to their own freedom. This should not be a thing this many years later. We as individuals and human beings should not be fighting for our right to be treated equally as another human being and to be loved in the ways that we should be loved. You shouldn't fight someone for that. If you notice within the first conversation, the first week of someone, and you start getting weird feelings, you have these off vibes, and you think, oh, well, maybe it's this or maybe it's that. And it could be something in life that they're going through. Stop where you are. That person is not for you. Walk Walk the other way. Walk quickly. Walk quickly like you're doing a marathon. Don't ever go back. Don't talk to them again. You owe them nothing. They owe you nothing. Just stop. When you realize what your worth is as a human being to yourself, we don't get back any days. We don't get to rewind a clock. So live your life for yourself every day. Does that mean in a family situation you don't have arguments and upsets and normal things that go on in a functioning home? No, everybody does. But they should never be screaming. There should never be name calling. There should never be physical confrontations. There should never be anybody looming over you, holding you down, in control of your finances, in charge of your life, telling you what you can wear and how you can look, or do you really like that on you? It does kind of make you look a little bit different, or maybe that kind of fills out your butt where it shouldn't. That's not the person for you. That's someone who's trying to own you and control you, and you're a piece of property and an asset to them. You are not a valued, loved individual. If you feel like you need this kind of help or would like to go over what these unhealthy relationship cues could be, or maybe you've survived trauma and you want to love again, reach out to me.